Today, what I want to do is talk about the importance of the first phone call and why this is such a key area that you really need to dial in, and you need to really have your staff dialed in if you're going to hand this off to somebody, as well as should you hand this off to somebody because of how important this is. We know that the first interaction we have with somebody leaves a very, good or bad first impression. And one of the challenges when it comes to running a cash-based clinic is the fact that we can't have people just call in, schedule a time. Here's my insurance. Deal with it whenever they get there. This can actually create a pretty bad customer experience. If any of you have ever been there, I have. I've had people show up. I do their visit, and then they hand me their Blue Cross card like it's a credit card. And I have to then explain to them like, hey, this is not really how this clinic works. And then I'm kind of the bad guy at that point. And this is what actually happened to us very early on because we didn't understand that we needed to have better communication with many variables, including insurance, whenever we first started to work with people. So when you have a chance to talk to somebody, it's very important, number one, that you establish the fact that your clinic is not in network with insurance companies. But you don't want to start with that, right? Because that's not necessarily a great way to start a conversation either. So there's two paths that we tend to see this happen. Okay. One is either a direct call that's then answered. This usually is actually by like an office manager or somebody at the front desk, or this is either, a way where they can get on your call schedule. And that could potentially be a contact form that then gets followed up by a staff member to then book a time to chat with you. Or it could be an auto scheduler, right? But either way, having that interaction is really important. If you have a front desk that can handle inbound calls, great. But you do need to train them on this exact same flow. Otherwise, they're going to end up converting really poorly, and that can negatively hurt your business, right? So when we look at the importance of the first call and why it's actually, in most cases, better for founders to take these calls, it's because you're going to convert so much better and you're able to articulate many things that are valuable in your clinic better than almost anybody else can. Plus, there's some founder authority there that's kind of hard to beat. But the key when we have these conversations is not to make the conversations about features and insurance and all these other things. It's about understanding what problem they're trying to solve and why that problem is important for them to resolve and what they're looking to get back to, right? There's this concept of, you don't sell the 9-hour flight and 6-hour time zone change when going to Hawaii from the East Coast. You sell the beach, right? You sell the tropical breeze, the Mai Tai you're holding while you're at the hotel pool, or the beautiful hike you get to go on and enjoy this amazing place. You're selling them on the tropical island. You're not selling them on the shit they have to do to get there, which is obviously challenging. And for us, one of the big mistakes that we make is we sell everybody on what we think is important, which is that you dry needle and that you have advanced orthopedic certifications and your staff is residency trained and you spend an hour with people and all these features, which are essentially not something that they care so much about. I mean, maybe a little bit if they're looking for certain things. What they really care about is they don't want their knee to hurt anymore. And what you need to understand is, why don't they want their knee to hurt anymore? Because not only does this allow us to have better buy-in from a patient compliance standpoint, but it allows us to have a much better understanding of what it is that's important to them to get back to, so that we can reiterate that in the process of our sales process. So if somebody, let's say their knee hurts, well, we want to know, okay, well, what's that stopping you from doing? Okay, it's stopping you from running. All right. How long you've been running? I've been running for a couple of years. Why'd you get into running? Like why pick that training methodology? Why is running important to you? And what you might find out is, hey, I've lost a good bit of weight doing this. I want to keep it down. I have a social group that I train with, and we try to do a couple races a year. It's a way that we can then go and travel. It's like a community thing for them at this point. So now all of a sudden, we understand it's not the knee. It's the fact that they've been taken out of their community and they're worried about putting weight back on. They're worried about putting weight back on and not be able to hang out with their friends. That's a very different conversation to have versus you have IT band friction syndrome or whatever the diagnosis might be of their knee. And when we have those conversations, it allows us to then really put ourselves in a position of authority to help them get there because we actually understand them. And we actually have taken the time to understand what they want versus they're just a number in a waiting room. And all it is about their diagnosis. You're not treating the human being in front of you. And this dramatically helps with your sales process. Because if you can have that conversation, price sensitivity goes down, like them using their insurance or wanting to use their insurance, like that starts to sort of smooth out quite a bit, including the fact that most people have these massive deductibles. They've got a lot of skin in the game either way. So that conversation is way easier, but it allows you to move away from that more and really focus on solving the problem. Because in the end, here's the reality. If somebody could get their problem solved, and let's say this was guaranteed, do you think they would care if insurance actually reimbursed them or not? Versus going somewhere where they're just going to be a number or they're going to be seen with multiple other people at the same time, and no one's going to have the time to actually listen to them or understand what's going on. Like many people take that exchange any day of the week, which is why we see so much growth in these cash-based clinics that are focusing on the people in front of them. But if you answer the phone and the first thing you do is you talk about features and this and that, and we do these specialized corrective exercises, that's like saying, yeah, we have a 10-hour flight, and our plane has all this technology and whatever else. And you get, TSA pre-check helps you get through, security faster, but you still make sure you get there 2 hours early because you don't want to miss your flight. You're selling them features. And this sounds like work. It's hard. You don't want to sell them on that. You want to sell them on why they're doing it so they'll have better compliance and they'll understand why you would be a good fit to work with them if you specialize in whatever it is that you help them with. So with founders in particular, they do such a good job of this because they have a lot of conviction around their ability to actually help people. And they understand these conversations because they have them all the time. If you have a front desk member that's answering these questions, what's really helpful for them is to understand how you're framing conversations, to sit in with you on evaluations and understand how you're talking to people and to role play with them about how to actually have these conversations, ask the right questions, and make sure you're actually understanding why people are reaching out to work with us and not necessarily, do you take my insurance or, do you treat knee pain? Like these very superficial things, we don't necessarily want to talk about that. And the last thing that I would say is the conviction side of things is incredibly helpful with this first conversation. One of the best ways you can improve conviction is to just highlight wins of the patients that are coming in to see you, the things you're getting back to, the things they're saying in the office, the things they're saying to your office manager, share that with your team. These are wins. And these wins motivate people to have conviction that what we do actually does help people in a meaningful way. And that is very motivating. And that conviction alone, people can feel that. People can feel that and they look for clinicians that have conviction in the fact that they can help them get back to what they want to do. And just think of yourself. Would you want to work with a clinician that was like, yeah, I don't know, like, I think we can help you. Let's give it a shot. Or do you want to work with somebody that's like, yeah, I just worked with 3 people, the same problem you have this week. This is what we specialize in. I talk to people all over the country that work with us on this problem. Like, we would love to help you out. We have a very high success rate with this type of injury. That is someone who's highly convicted, that has experience in whatever that type of injury is, versus somebody that is like, not sure, right? And you don't want that. You want somebody that has conviction in the fact they can help you. And people are looking for that and they'll pay for that. And they're way less price sensitive if you understand what's going on and you have high conviction in the fact you can help them. So that first phone call is your opportunity to establish rapport, to establish you understand what's going on, and to show them that you have conviction that they're in the right spot and that you can help them. And if you need a staff member to have that conversation, your office manager can always transfer somebody over to them. But if you are a founder, I highly recommend that you take these inbound calls because from what we see, our numbers that we track, if you have an office manager that's converting 60 to 70%, like that's really good. Like an admin converting 67%, fantastic. Most founders are going to convert somewhere between 80 and 90%, like very, very high. And that delta of that 20% is very worth it for you to take those calls, especially if they're coming from somewhere like ads, which maybe they're a bit colder traffic. And that's going to help your ROI or your return on investment of the money you're investing in marketing turn around and actually be ROI positive in many cases. So maybe something for you to hold on to, but eventually you can obviously hand that off with the right amount of training. So hope this helps. This is a crucial part of the sales process. Please don't sell features, sell the vacation, sell Hawaii, don't sell the 10-hour flight, and don't sell the features of all the stuff that you do that you think is awesome. It is awesome, but they don't really care and or know what the heck you're talking about. They just want their need to not hurt. So hope this helps. As always, thanks for watching and we'll catch you next time.